Two bros talking shit. Talking shit. Two bros talking shit. Talking shit. Pass that smoke, then split. Say it clean, then quit. Two bros talking shit. And the whole town heard it.
I don't know who that is, but
What you think about them doing the UFC at the White House? Do you think it's okay? Do you think that's something that people should be okay with?
yeah, 100%. That's entertainment. America's all about entertainment.
When's the last time something like that was done at a White House? Like
They're
that?
not in the White House though.
No,
They're just
but
on
it's
the
in
property.
the fucking yard.
Yeah,
the
that's
same
fine,
thing.
dude. Who cares?
I think it's a little.
Think about if you look at any other country though, these people do parades and stuff. We don't hardly ever do any of that. We recently did that because of Donald Trump with the 250th anniversary. We did the military parade, but we don't really do anything like that as a country. So
Still at the White House. I mean,
I think it's fine. I think it's a symbol of,
I think it's a symbol of using our taxpayer money for fucking bullshit.
I don't think it was taxpayer funded. I mean, I'm not sure about that, but
He didn't fund that shit.
I think the UFC funds itself though, like they're their own organization. The people
It just
fund
don't look good. It really don't.
To who?
Seeing your president host a fight in the front yard for his birthday and for 4th of July.
His birthday's already passed.
But it
That was
said
for
it
the military birthday.
well, they
Or
said
that
it
was for the military
it.
parade.
I don't know.
See, they're just making shit up. It was one or the other because they said the same thing when he had the military parade for the 250th anniversary.
Maybe
it was
his
the same
birthday's
thing with his
around
birthday.
this area.
Who cares? It's our president. We should celebrate his birthday.
Yeah,
Really?
but you're supposed to set an example.
Why is that a bad one?
The next thing you're going to see is fucking mud fights between girls out there.
No, you're being extreme now.
I don't know
The-
about that.
the
It's not too
UFC
much extreme off of UFC, people beating the shit out of each other.
I mean, they also have Nitro Circus out there, people doing backflips on dirt bikes and stuff.
I seen that. Yeah,
pretty cool.
I seen that.
That's pretty sick.
Hey, I ain't saying
That's
I hate
American, man. That's, you know what I'm saying? Like, again, they're not in the White House. They're not disrupting the flow of the White House.
Look up who paid for it, though.
Okay, because I really don't know.
Who's
I'm assuming
paying,
that it was the UFC, though.
What's paying for this fucking Nitro Circus UFC White House amusement park type bullshit? Because I'm cool with the UFC or, dirt bikes or whatever the fuck.
I think it's cool because it's like a symbol of not just America, but like freedom.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, look, the UFC and its affiliated groups are paying for the event. Estimated cost is over $60 million. It's being funded directly by the organization and its corporate sponsors. See?
But we're in
rather
a
than
fucking
taxpayer
war
dollars.
right now.
That doesn't involve the UFC.
It involves the president fucking paying attention and not sitting at a fucking UFC fight in his front
Bro,
yard.
That's one event. He deserves breaks and stuff.
That's not the only event. He's at the UFC a lot.
Are you against Trump or what? Is that what you're going
No,
against right here?
I'm not
Who
against
cares
Trump.
what he does? He's
A
the
lot
president.
of people care what you're supposed to be a fucking.
I mean, in
a
his free
leader.
time. He is a leader.
He don't get free time.
He's actually the best leader we've had in a long time.
I'm not saying he's a bad person. I'm saying those things right there show immaturity, and people don't like that.
I just disagree. I think it shows freedom, and that's what Trump is about. He's about like openness, exposure.
If you're the president, nothing else should be going on in your life but being a president. You signed up for that.
I disagree. Completely
You're
disagree.
the commander in chief. You can't
Yeah.
step away from that. You're
He should-
constantly working.
He's not stepping away from that though. That's way different than going to one event.
You know how
Or
many times
even
this
events.
motherfucker's caught golfing?
He's golfing, and yeah, he deserves off time for sure.
Hey, look, I have no hate towards the man as a president as far as what he's doing for the country. But those little things right there is what makes him like a laughing stock almost.
I mean, take it for how you want though. He's the best president we've had in a very long time. He actually gets shit done.
Yeah, that's still opinionated.
One of the
though.
most transparent presidents we've had.
Whether I agree with your opinion or not, which I do.
I mean, a lot of people won't, but that's they're entitled
it's
to
still
that.
opinionated. You can't say it's right or wrong.
I'm just saying though, based on what we've seen in our lifetime, not to mention the people that will agree with me that are older than me, he has been one of the most transparent presidents. The only other one was
we've only
assassinated.
had like 3 presidents in our lifetime that actually had any meaning to our life.
Right.
Which was Obama, fucking Biden, and Trump.
Bush.
Not really. We were young. It didn't affect us. It affected our parents. It don't really affect kids to an
mean,
extent of you noticing anyway.
That again, though, he was president when the Twin Towers were attacked when I was in like 3rd grade. So
exactly,
something like
third
that, second
grade.
grade, something.
Either
I'm
way,
not
that
sure.
didn't affect you.
No, but I knew about it. Right.
Not saying it didn't affect some third graders. Some third graders lost their family. but
Right.
Most third graders didn't have any, didn't matter. And not that you get what I mean to an extent.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that's why a lot of people are not liking.
I think the UFC fight again, it's showing that Americans have freedom for one. Like we do what the fuck we want to because we're in America, right? We're still civil. We're not just this is a very opinionated and in some ways, large ways, our government and our military are bullies, but American people are generally not like that, right?
I'm just saying it don't rub you a little bit wrong though.
No, not even a little bit. I think it's cool, honestly.
When he could be like releasing the alien files, dealing
already
with
done that.
Iran. No, he's releasing what he can. The
It's
fact that
just-
he's not
okay,
allowed
listen.
to release what he wants
Exactly.
is
That's
fucked up.
that's what you have to listen to though. There is a Congress, there's steps to this. He's the president. He's not just a king. How they put no kings, he's not a king. He can't just do exactly everything he wants to do, but he can damn sure take, the full extent of his powers and, his legalities where he's able to do in his range.
I just feel like he's a bit distracted here and there.
Yeah, well, who cares? He shouldn't have to stress and kill himself.
I think he should. I think if you ran for president, you should have to deal with that. That's like
Again, that's the
being a
reason you
police
have-
officer and saying I shouldn't have to go out there and risk my life
He has
all the time.
He has people that work for him and under him, multiple military organizations and advisors, and all these people that help him that do his job and help.
Yeah,
run the
but those
country.
motherfuckers ain't
It's
the
more
one
than
asking
just
for
one
a
man.
UFC ring in the front
Think-
yard.
it's like, I mean, are you sure they're probably the ones that asked for it at the same time? You know what I mean? Like it's a collaboration. I don't know why you're so against that. That just shows America. Or do you want to live in communism and oppression like North Korea? You want to live where they host events for you and you got to go to the military or your son's forced to the military and stuff like that? No.
Him doing it anywhere else would have done the same exact thing.
What? What do you mean?
He did it at the White House.
Yeah, that's a show of like who gives a fuck.
It's a show of him
That's a
doing
show of
something that
America.
other presidents ain't done.
Yes,
and
and
it's
that's
not a
completely
good
okay.
version of that though.
that's okay though. That's again opinionated.
That's a slippery slope.
Not really.
Yeah.
I think that he's well within his rights and liberties to do that as president, as standing president. Again, they're not in the White House; they're just on the lawn, for one.
And I don't even hate the guy. I definitely don't want the other person to be president. But that's still, I can see exactly why people would be like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
I mean, no,
Like
I
you're
don't-
bombing another country. You're about to go to war with another country, not the same other country. And then you're hosting UFC fights and motocross and going golfing on your weekends.
Yes.
No, you should be fucking focused on that. Like the president, I forgot who
Okay,
it
but
was.
listen.
I think it was Jimmy Carter. He's when he went to war, not Jimmy Carter. I'm not even gonna say which president because I don't fucking know. One president, they were all at war, and he didn't. He stayed there like, kind of like dealing with it with them, not acting like he's free and stuff while everybody's out at war, dying.
Okay, but
shit.
look, the military fights the war. The president doesn't go fight the war. He's the strategist, right? He's the leader that talks to other leaders. He doesn't need to be fatigued and constantly worn out. Okay, the same way that applies to studying. If you overstudy, that information at a certain point becomes null. You forget it because you're overworked. You're worn out. It doesn't matter anymore. You're burnt out. You know what I'm saying? All of that stuff is not going to stick. It only sticks up to a certain point. They say study for like 4 hours. Take a break, take a breather, whatever, and then get back
It's
to
kind
it.
of just like an
It's the
adult
same
thing to do,
concept.
man. You're trying to have fun.
He is an adult completely. He's the best leader in my opinion, that we've had.
Having fun and being a little immature has nothing to do with being a good leader.
What do you mean?
That's just him doing a bad thing as a good leader.
That's not a bad thing, though.
And being a little immature is.
I mean,
As
that's
fucking
your
president,
opinion.
yes.
That's
I'm
your
sorry.
opinion.
You didn't want Sleepy Joe. Why?
What do you mean? Because he had dementia, and he was.
And you don't think
Hard.
fucking having a UFC
Retarded.
ring in the fucking front of the White House, something nobody has ever done, is a little dementiated, a little fucked up in the head?
What do you mean?
Like
No.
doing that at the fucking White House.
No.
I mean, I don't see that's because you think it's fun. That's why.
No, I don't think that.
You don't
is
think
fun,
that's a
per se.
fucking intelligent. You don't think that's an intelligent, smart, strategic thing to do as a president. You just think
I
that's
think
funny
that
or
bears
fun.
no weight on his presidency role whatsoever.
I said nothing about him being a bad president.
Exactly. So why are you comparing the UFC event to his presidency? It has no bearing on him. He's not the one hosting it. For one, I just showed you it's not taxpayer money. It's UFC funded. They're hosting it on the lawn for two. He probably isn't even going to be at the whole event. Even if he was, he's allowed. You know, he doesn't have to be at a. He has military advisors and stuff. You know what I'm saying? He has people that take the immediate phone calls. He only has to pay attention to the really important stuff, and he does that. Really, a really good job at doing that. Honestly, he's prevented wars. Yes, we are in a war with Iran, but that's a whole different.
We're in 2 wars now.
Well, you know, that's a whole different topic.
Regardless of us being able to just wipe Cuba like a fucking fly on the fucking wall, you know, but
That's honestly.
I mean,
same
we
with-
probably do the same in Iran, Iran, right?
And we already have kind of, but yeah. That's my point, is that he has people that take those.
I'm not saying this is affecting his.
It shouldn't look on him at all. Like, that shouldn't. This is hosted between the people want this too. Obviously, it wouldn't happen. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people that are for this, that it doesn't matter that much. It's going to happen and it's over, and people are going to go about their day.
Till something happens there.
Well, you know, if they're creating and they don't have security personnel, the people that hate Trump are gonna like that anyway, right? If they creates more openness for disaster, then why do you care? I don't know. I don't
Looks
see
a little
problem with it
immature on his
whatsoever.
character, not him being a bad president. That's all I'm saying.
I'm just saying that I don't think that. I mean,
I'm just
while he
saying,
could
why the
stop
fuck's
it,
he even getting involved with it?
why are you associating that it has to be only Trump with the White House just because
He set it up. You can look it up.
Let's
Him and
see.
Dana White are the ones that are setting this up.
Let's see.
Dana White, I can see why. He runs the UFC. That's a lot of fucking money. I would do that too. He's not a bad person for doing that. He don't run the fucking country. He don't have to fucking look good. Regardless, Trump is a good president.
Yeah,
I just
he's
think
doing
this
it
makes-
for the. It's called the UFC Freedom 250 event on the South Lawn to celebrate America's 250th anniversary and his own 80th birthday. He worked closely with longtime friend UFC CEO Dana White to organize the historic $60 million spectacle.
I think a better celebration of his
So
birthday
boom.
would be ending the war.
What? You can't just end a war. For one, you have to stop the problem for the war. You have to understand the reason you went into the war and what. So if we just
They
pulled
solved
out like
the problem
Biden did
the first time they
so,
blew it up.
So let me ask you this: Did Biden end the war in Afghanistan because he pulled all of the troops out of there? No. What he did was he left an entire arsenal for the Iranian or for the Afghani troops, and they started slaughtering their people. Sharia law and stuff implemented again. These areas that were enforced with American soldiers and these people that had normal, semi-normal lives. A lot of them didn't agree with us being there. The people that were naturalists and pure.
I don't care what Biden did.
I'm
Regardless,
just saying though that
Trump started
ending
a war, and he
and
blew up them and stopped them from being able to do nuclear shit, and he stayed there.
he
And
backed
now-
Israel on that. Yeah.
Now he's gonna bomb them again.
They
He already
had
bombed
enriched-
him again
they had
because he hit a helicopter.
Okay, so Iran had enriched uranium that they were using to develop
they
nuclear
stopped
power,
that.
is what they said, right?
and they
What
stopped that, right?
we thought they were using the enriched uranium for weapons, for nuclear weapons. And apparently there was some leak or whatever. So yes, we bombed them. We told them to stop. They wouldn't stop. So we nuked, or didn't nuke it. We used a missile and blew up their
Uranium facilities,
right.
or whatever.
bunker buster or whatever it's called. The one
Yeah.
that goes underground way far. And we blew up their facility.
But now
obviously they
we bombed them
retaliated.
recently, right? Because they shot a helicopter down or something.
They've shot a lot. They retaliated with that after we blew them up, and they got back on their feet, and then they started, blowing up different sites
Yeah.
in all different countries. You can look into that all you want.
Well, if nobody's happy with them and nobody's gonna stop us, they could easily end it.
What do you mean?
Just blow them all up.
That's not how the Geneva Convention and all work. You don't just nuke somebody. That's essentially what
Not
you're doing.
nukes.
You're killing all the civilians at that point, because a lot of these organizations and militia groups hide amongst the civilians. So it's a lot easier said than done than just to wipe them out. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, but then you're killing, 500,000 soldiers and 2 million civilians.
Yeah, I'm no fucking general or nothing.
Yeah,
but
right. Same me neither. Right.
I think there's a way out. Of
My
any
limited
war.
knowledge on this, though, is understanding that it's not just as simple as just ending the war. Everybody would love to do that, but if they pull out at the wrong time, they're just going to get more people hurt, because these people there. It's just like if you angered a hornet's nest and you ran behind a glass door. That doesn't stop the angry hornets, right? It stops you from getting stung, but anything near you is going to get stung.
Yeah, you're still leaving everybody.
You're
else
still
there to
leaving
be
everybody
fucked.
else to get fucked, right? So those angry hornets that are out there and pissed off.
Maybe they just need to make them weak enough so the people that we're protecting down there can fight them off the rest of the time, and we can leave.
I mean, geopolitics is what this is called, right? It's geological politics. It's about fighting wars over land and
We're gonna
resource.
go fight Cuba now.
The reason all of this happened, though, has transpired over the last hundreds of years through development, countries wanting land, border crisis, and all these other different reasons, and people cutting for supplies off, all these different reasons that pile onto this.
Right.
It does not just get solved in an afternoon. It doesn't get solved in a year, 10 years. You know what I'm saying? This is stuff that has happened for generations. And you have these people, think about like the most like religious or like the most like cultist is what I kind of want to describe this as. Not saying religion is a cult, that's your own opinion, but those two as separate things, how devoted they are to their cause, right? Think about that. These people, you're not going to break their mentality. When there's somebody's that devoted to something, you think an outsider is going to come in and convince them wrong? Or
There's a fly.
they're 40 years old and they've been thinking this their entire life as like, in this religion. Are you as an outsider going to come in and change their mind? 99% of the time, no, right? Like maybe you get the one-off guy that you.
No, that's why there's some places we just leave alone to develop on their own.
And when you do that, you run into the problem that we just ran into, and they develop nuclear weapons, and they shouldn't have them. Everybody says no. You have a bunch of big brothers in a circle. They're like, no, you're too radical, right? You're too extreme. You have too many fights within your own country. Y'all are trying to kill everybody. You think your ideals are the only ideal. Like you want, when you move into other countries, you want your laws implemented in their countries, stuff like that, right? Like we can't have that. That's not how a free world works.
I'm not saying they can just end it, but he should be focused on that.
But that's the thing, though. You can only focus so much, and you have people focus on that constantly. What you're describing is military generals and advisors, right? Those people have to have a job, too. He's not making military calls like that. At the end of the day, he's making the ones after they've already put all their minds together and they figured out, hey, these are your options.
Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying. He don't need to be fucking...
He doesn't need to be constantly stressed out, for one. That's going to kill him. He's already old enough, right? That all of our presidents in history have all been that pretty old.
I don't think UFC and
kinda.
motocross is helping, though, is all I'm saying.
It's not hurting either. It's for the 250th anniversary. Apparently, it is for his birthday as well. I thought that was for...
Having a big live event with people from the civilization
is good.
It's going to cause
It's going to be filtered. Same way any other UFC event is. You're going to need a pass. You're going
all
to need
this shit going on, you don't think somebody's going to come there with fucking intentions?
Maybe, sure. But how good are we at blocking those intentions? And if we do...
I mean, she's been shot in the ear. He's fucking been shot at 3 or 4 fucking times.
He's also attended UFC events where that didn't happen. And this is probably at one of the safest locations this could happen. On the White House lawn. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Y'all decide what y'all think. Everybody has an opinion.
I think, personally, that this is a show of America's freedom. We as a country,
He
as
has
a
the
people,
freedom to go see UFC, but not do it at the White
no,
House.
we have a freedom to do what the fuck we want to do, though. That's the thing.
We don't, though.
We do, to an extent, as long as we're within the confines of the Constitution. Not even the law, per se, the Constitution. Right? If a law is implemented that overrides the Constitution, is unconstitutional law. And you will beat that in state court every day. Right? That's how case laws are built. So if you can follow the Constitution to a T, right? And there's some hazy areas there and gray areas. You're in American freedom. That's it, right there, right? You know what I'm saying? You have all the freedoms as the next guy. It doesn't matter if skin
There's
color.
still expectations.
There's
for
biases
certain people.
for personalities, and people are different. You're gonna have racists. That doesn't mean the whole country is racist. You know what I'm saying?
I'm just saying, though, when you elect a president, which I don't vote, so it don't matter anyway. When you elect a president, you're wanting somebody that is fucking smart.
Right? Donald Trump obviously is smart.
You want somebody mature,
And
strategic.
that's questionable. He's very
I
strategic.
mean, you wouldn't say you'd want an immature president.
No, I wouldn't
Nobody
call
would.
Donald Trump necessarily
You want somebody
immature either, though.
strategic. You want somebody
He's
loving.
very strategic.
You want
he has a nice
somebody,
family, so
a
probably
godly man, not necessarily any specific religion,
I
just
don't know
somebody
his
that
religion
believes in a
status.
higher power. You know what I mean? I think that is what.
But
need
all
to
you
do.
described is almost Donald Trump.
Yeah, but he's just doing a little stuff that's a little immature, in my opinion.
Yeah, but again, you're entitled to that, and you could feel that way. But again, it's not hurting
I
anything at
wouldn't
all.
choose somebody else.
If
I
anything,
can
that
deal
should
with
be
him being a
badass to
little
you.
immature.
If you got invited to the UFC White House event,
But
you
I
would
don't give a
100%.
fuck about
That would be
UFC.
fucking sick.
The motocross would be cooler.
But I'm just saying the event itself. Who gives a fuck? Nobody
I don't
really
like
cares about
seeing
that either.
people get their ass beat. That's not something that's barbaric, and I don't like it. But
Again, a lot of people do like it though, and a lot of people make a lot of
I
money
don't care
on it
how evil
and
the
lose a lot
person
of
that's
money.
getting their ass beat is. I always want the person getting their ass beat to get their
to win.
Yeah,
Right.
for some fucking
It's
reason.
like the underdog guy. You know,
Yeah.
you want the guy
I
that
don't want him to lose.
right.
It's like you don't want a dog
But
to get ran
then-
over.
Now take that same mentality, and it's the guy who was like the bully the whole time, like the rougher guy, and now he's getting his ass beat in the ring. You still want him to win? This guy was talking shit the whole
But then
time.
it's-
I'm
yeah,
gonna
it's
beat
the
you, blah, blah,
opposite.
blah, blah. And then now he just gets beat up, and now it's like, oh no.
Yeah, like if you've seen some shit like he
You see a
punched
lot
a
of shit
girl
like that.
and got into the ring, and you're like, oh no, this dude's done.
Yeah, right. And then he
Get
starts
him.
getting beat down. You're
Get
not
him,
gonna feel
boy.
bad for him, right?
Yeah.
Same thing as like the How to Catch a Predator. You never feel bad for those dudes when they get slapped.
We're gonna get a whole bunch of like Hillary supporters that are commenting on here. Yeah, Trump's a bitch.
I mean, you get both sides. You get Republicans and Democrats. I don't really swing either way. Like I don't care about politics like that.
No,
Not to that extent. It doesn't. I'm saying like
it's
it's
more
not that
entertainment.
don't care
to
is the
me.
wrong word. It's you're not gonna affect it until you get into those roles that can. If
Otherwise, it's just entertainment and then news. Also, you
they
get a little
like
bit of
teach
news.
you that like your vote matters and every vote counts but bro, they also teach you that they can pick regardless. At the end of the day, they can decide who they want as the president. So like what the
Yeah, if a homeless man was winning in the polls, you think they ain't gonna pick the motherfucker with a degree next to him?
yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
They like Toro College.
Yeah. I'm just,
This
and
is
there's
like-
a lot of fraud in voting, so you know.
I don't know. I don't see a problem with voting per se. Like vote, obviously everybody get out there and vote because you're going to break the system if you don't. But I also think that the government kind of does what it wants to at the end of the day. People, are manipulative.
Yeah,
You
they're
would
gonna-
have to have a very tight-knit system, which we don't have, clearly shown over the last few elections.
It probably started off good, like the whole idea of government.
Yeah, right. Like that's
You got about 30 people that get together
It
and
gets
they
convoluted.
decide, and they're like, "Oh no, you're fucked. Brian, get out of here."
it's the same way like anything gets convoluted like that after it gets, over time. It's all these mass input of judgment and ideas of expectation, and these people think that they deserve certain power roles because of positions they've been voted into.
Problem is, none of them are doing it for the love of other people.
Do you know how much power we have given to the term elected official? Right? Like a sheriff is an elected official, right? Same thing as like a president or like elected official like a sheriff
He can
is the
just
only
throw
person
you out your home.
he's the only person technically that can take the mayor to jail. Right? Like he's the only person that can lock up the mayor is a sheriff because he's an elected official. And little stuff like that that's through the laws, it just shows you how they really fucked it. You have to get in there and learn a lot if you're trying to ride those lines.
Yeah, I don't want to
Yeah.
ride those lines.
Again, and that's why I kind of back on to if you just learn the Constitution, all of that shit is kind of void in a way. Right?
Yeah, I mean, it's, either way, we're a puppet to it. Either way,
Yeah, right.
well, you can't get out of that
To an
unless we decide to
extent.
kill.
To an extent, you're kind of a puppet to it. You have to fit into the system in a way.
You're walking the lines they wrote for you, or they drew for you. Regardless, you're
As
going
long
to
as
work,
you're-
you're paying your taxes, you're living the.
That's what I was gonna say. As long as you're living in the taxable life, so you're like, going convenience stores, Walmart, places like this.
even off the grid. At some point, you're doing something that benefits the government.
Not if you're completely off the grid, but yeah, you may still be doing something that gets taxed down the road. Some product you bought, even if secondhand, it was taxed at some point.
From the lumber you build your hut with to the. I
Well, I
don't know.
mean, again, if you get out there and cut down your own tree,
yeah.
but where'd you get the saw?
If he made it, well,
Right. Like it's
You know?
it's very iffy like that, right? Like
Yeah.
at some point you're probably going to be wearing a product or something that was taxed by the government.
and then AI is gonna make them even more fucking crazy.
Dude,
AI
I
and
think-
the government.
in my opinion though, what are you more concerned with, AI or aliens?
I think it's the same shit. You think just like the cell phone or any other crazy technology came out in a decade like it was nothing. Like, where the fuck did this thing come from? Nobody since, I don't know, 1700s could have ever thought of a fucking cell phone.
There's a law, I forgot what it's called. Murph's law, something. I'm not sure. Somebody will know if they watch this. But there's a law. It's like like law of thermodynamics, sort of like that, right? But it's basically saying for every micro processor that you build in 1 year, I think that's wrong too. But whatever, we're just gonna use that as the example. That every 2 years, that's gonna double in computing power. So you see what I'm saying? So it's just compounding. So every time you make one thing, it compounds to be 2 times as good as it was in 2 years.
That's why they're trying to go so big with data centers, more computing.
Well, I just meant that's the law that explains how we advance so fast. Once we figured it out, like it's basically like saying once you get the blueprint, you can build, right? So
Where'd we get the blueprint?
That my personal opinion comes from, or
I
don't
think
know
they got like
technology.
transistors and shit like that, all that stuff, circuit boards and like discovered crafts that they reconfigured, like they back engineered.
Aliens,
Yeah.
maybe. I mean, that's a good theory.
Even
I
if it
guess.
ain't aliens, like ancient technology
I
they
think
found.
where we really like started our progress is when we learned to split the atom, and we got nuclear energy. That's where nuclear power comes from. Is when you split an atom.
Who created the internet?
Good question. I don't know by name.
Because Steve Jobs just made it personal computers, right?
Let's see. Yeah.
But
I
like,
think
how
so.
was it created? I still don't know.
What?
Like, how the fuck's the internet work?
It was not made by a single person. Instead, it was built by a collaborative team of scientists, engineers, and programmers over several decades. Key pioneers included Vinton Cerf and Robert Kahn, who created the TCP/IP protocols that allow computer networks to communicate. In the 1960s, the U.S. Department of Defense's Advanced Research Projects Agency, or ARPA, funded a project called ARPANet. It successfully connected computers using a technology called packet switching, which breaks data down into smaller pieces to be sent across a network.
What's a network?
In the 1970s, computer scientists Vinton Cerf and Robert Kahn developed TCP and IP. This standard language allowed different disconnected computer networks to communicate with each other, acting as the foundation of the modern internet. A network is, so you know about the lines that connect the countries. There's basically giant computer lines that go from country to country that go underneath the ocean.
Yeah.
Right. And in the Cold War and different wars, our spy technology with submarines will go out and tap these lines to get communications from military and enemy combatants, right? Which is pretty crazy. That's a whole different.
So we just ran wires everywhere, and that's how the
Yes.
internet works, pretty much.
And now we have satellites.
And now it's bouncing off
It's both.
satellites
It's
and
both.
wireless now.
Yes.
Well, fiber optics and shit.
It's both. I think. I'm pretty sure.
That's still like people.
While
Who
the internet
owns
connects,
it though?
Look, while the internet connects the computers together, the World Wide Web makes it accessible to the public. Invented in 1989 by British computer scientist Sir Tim Berners-Lee at CERN, the web introduced a system of websites, hyperlinks, and web browsers that we use to navigate the internet today.
So he's the one that really put it together.
Yeah.
He's the one
invented
that
the
made
World
it
Wide
to where
Web.
everybody can go on one spot.
Yeah, www.
So does he own it? Does he own like the whole browser setup?
What do you mean?
Does somebody own the internet? Or is
I
that just
don't
like
think so.
a open source type thing? It's
think
like, I
it's-
created this. Y'all do what y'all want with it.
Because it said it was made by like the multiple companies and collaborators, so I'm assuming that it was just like an open source project, like it's
Yeah.
invented thing. You know what I'm saying? Like
We were talking about this on one of our
it's
other
a
podcasts
decentralized global
too.
network of billions of independently owned computers, servers, and cables.
So the server companies own it pretty much.
No, it's decentralized networks, meaning that it like all of the use one centralized network. So if your provider is what owns that computer, right, or like that network.
Can somebody shut off the internet? Is that possible?
What sense are you asking? Can it be shut down?
Can somebody
Indefinitely?
do something to shut down the internet? So like you go to pull up your computer, nothing will work. Can somebody do that on a worldly scale? I guess not, because like countries have their own internet.
Like on a global scale?
But our internet's connected to other countries, though. Like I can talk to people from other
No.
countries. So it's hardwired.
It's a network of networks with built-in redundancies. There is no master off switch. If one pathway or data center goes dark, traffic automatically reroutes to the other parts of the world. However, while a total global shutdown is practically impossible, the internet faces vulnerabilities that can cause massive regional or temporary disruptions.
Huh.
Localized or countrywide shutdown is entirely doable and happens frequently. Dictatorial governments or military regimes can order domestic internet service providers or ISPs to cut their connections, effectively severing that country from the global grid. Nations like Myanmar, Iran, and Syria have historically cut their citizens to access during periods of civil unrest. So basically, exactly what we were just talking about. It's a decentralized network, meaning that, AT&T, Comcast, all these different internet providers own their networks, and that's who you're using off of, right? So it's like all these different companies and private companies that aren't even open to the public to get sourced have their own network.
So the plans are open source. We were talking about open source on one of our other podcasts about AI or whatever. And you were talking about ChatGPT, and I said it was run by a company called Open Source AI.
Right.
And you said you think that just meant open source for everybody to be able to use. But their company is called Open AI, not Open Source AI.
Right.
So that is their company name, though, but it is also...
It's open source, right?
Yeah,
open
it's
AI.
also...
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I can see them like naming the name. A lot of companies do that. They'll like what it is or what it does. They'll name the company after that thing, So it's like I could see that as well.
I'm ready. It's gonna kick off next year.
Somebody said we had until 2020 or 2030 until we had robots in every home.
Yeah, robots are gonna be another 5 years or whatever.
But we'll see.
But they're moving fast. I mean, them motherfuckers, they're in production.
People aren't going to want that, though. People vandalize stuff every day. You think they're going to live among robots? No. Civilized people will. The uncivilized are people hard up for money, and they fucking catch your robot slacking.
Well, it depends, because if it's a public robot that does stuff...
One robot and 7 broke dudes, I'm saying.
Yeah,
listen.
They're going to have deterrent
that robot's
systems.
finna get scrapped.
They're going to have deterrent systems of some sort.
We finna hit you with an EMP like a Molotov. Shut it down, buddy.
It would take
you
some
going
time.
to the scrapyard.
It would take a lot of time for them.
Yeah, they're going to, I'm just saying.
All they got to do is make them affordable to make, though. Once robots are building other robots.
Yeah, but just because you make robots doesn't mean you don't fix the economy, right? You're still going to have those people in those lower poverty sections that, again, if they catch that robot slacking, are definitely going to scrap that thing.
Unless we got Elon Musk ideal and we got high universal income. Once AI
that
takes
is socialism.
On.
Socialism is just everybody has equal income. That never works. You still get the groups of people that's basically freaking...
There's stipulations to everything. If you can't cut it, you can't cut it. You know what I mean?
I mean, that's just the way the world works.
Yeah.
I mean, we've discovered that capitalism is one of the best ways. I'm not going to say it is the best way, but for America, it works pretty well, in my opinion. Again, the people not... it's sad for the small percentage of the population that have health issues or stuff that doesn't allow them to take advantage of the opportunities given to them by living in the country that is first world. However, the people that are just lazy, incompetent, they decide not to get skills, they decide they want to sit at home, I have no empathy for it. Obviously, why would I, right? These people are not taking the advantages of the country that they have been given.
Well, when you're looking through the window and you see people who have doors opened up for them, regardless if they had to work for it afterwards, but these people had the window shown or the door shown to them of how to get to where they need to be. And a lot of people don't have that.
No, but again, okay, so go find it.
Yeah, you're definitely able to
put your shoes on and go find it, bro. If we're speaking metaphorically, you have to get up and go. If nobody's ever going to hand you an easy life, right? Not just.
That's the thing, though. That people
doesn't
see
happen.
That it happens, though.
Okay, but that happens in circumstance, right? Like if you understand
you see it a lot, though.
The same thing that you see that happen, you also see it don't happen, right? If you're weighing on your chance of that just happening to you magically,
a lot more than you see it.
You have to present yourself for opportunity, though. If people don't know you exist, they can't talk to you, right? You have to insert yourself in circumstances. Like that's the thing is You have to be able to willing to get out there and get your hands dirty. And the majority of the population don't seem to be that way. They're not willing to put themselves out there. They're closeted through their fears. There's people that don't want to express their emotions, right?
Yeah, those people will fall off.
It's all of these people. Well, that's the hive mentality that you get with this. You create these communities of people that are like that in these impoverished areas, and they don't look to aspire to be anything better because what they're doing is working. They're still living. They're happy with and they don't. That's okay. That doesn't have to be wrong either. If they're okay with the minimalist lifestyle, that's fine. But they also can't cry about that wage or that lifestyle that they're not willing to get out of. Right? When you live in an area, and again, it's all about building skills and being able to get out of the area. If you live there temporarily, to do that is completely fine. Regardless of your years, everybody's path is different, right? Whether that's 5, 10, 20 years, it doesn't matter. But as long as you create that foundation to get out of there. But when you lay in that mud and you start complaining about being dirty, how am I going to feel bad for you, right? You have no effort to get up and to learn skills. You don't have to go to school either. You can learn practical skills, cleaning houses, painting houses. You can do anything that you're willing to do. You can find people that are willing to help you as long as you're willing to put in the effort, because people are willing to help people that are willing to help themselves. If you're not willing to help yourself,
most people don't have the energy to try anymore.
That's again, and I have no empathy for you whatsoever. If your excuse to me is that I don't have energy,
if
I'm
you're
going to
not
tell
rich,
you
it's definitely your fault.
Not necessarily rich. If you're impoverished to an extent of having to beg people for your lifestyle habits, then yes, that is 100% your fault.
Let's be honest. If you're not rich and you're not impoverished, then you're fucking miserable staying at a healthy level.
Maybe. That's
pretty much.
Some people's mentality. Everybody's different, though. There's billions of people on this planet.
Working in the lumber yard, working in construction, regardless if you're living a healthy life with a nice truck and a fridge full of food and some healthy kids,
a lot of people
you're not happy.
But that again, you're judging 7 billion people. That's not right at all.
You telling me
might not be happy.
You telling me they wouldn't be happier if they didn't have to work their ass off and still got to do all that
stuff? A lot
of
people take pleasure in working, though. Me, myself, I would be miserable sitting at home if I had $1 billion in the bank.
But you wouldn't. You wouldn't sit at home. You would go in your backyard and you would make it fucking beautiful, and then you would go to your neighbor's house and help him build his attic.
But that's not what we're talking about. You're talking about people that got to sit at home.
But if you have high universal income, you can do what you want. So say your neighbor needed to build his back porch.
More people are going to be obligated not to do that.
You would want to because you're bored. You ain't working.
You're judging
normal, hardworking people.
You're judging your thing, right?
Bored.
Like that's the thing that you kind of can't. You have to separate from is like looking at it as a global outlook. Is that the majority of people are not the same, right? You do have people that group themselves together. That's why you get.
I think even the lazy, impoverished people will look at it like, damn, I don't have to work no more. Now I want to do something because I don't have to. They have to work. They don't want to. You know what I mean? So maybe if they didn't have to, I'm just saying maybe they probably won't. They're probably still gonna be lazy.
Okay,
but
I could show you interviews with homeless people of literally people offering them jobs, and they're like, "Nah, man, I'm good."
Well, that's just what I'm saying. But if you offered them $1 million, maybe they'd get a new house and maybe they'd start doing something constructive.
Of course they would get $1 million, but they're probably going to go do drugs in that $1 million house, okay?
Well, no, they're probably going to get robbed trying to go do drugs.
I'm just saying, though, that's a mentality issue and not a money issue.
Well, that's a drug
mentality
issue.
Builds wealth, right? Mentality builds wealth. So does action. If your mentality is that you're always going to be broke or that you're okay with being broke, you're probably always going to be broke. The same thing if you're sad and you're okay with being sad, you're always going to be sad.
But do you think all the people that are like that, if they were given the chance to have universal income like everybody else?
I don't think universal income is fair for the people that are willing to go out there and get it versus the people that want to sit there.
Well, if nobody has to work, it's pretty fair.
No, that's not fair at all. That's not fair. And again, that's going to be
that's something I was telling
opinion.
Lacey too. Okay, picture this. All right, during like the Great Depression, everybody like us were struggling, right? But the rich were still rich. Now that AI can possibly take all these rich folks' jobs, now they're okay with high universal income because they'll still be okay.
Let me ask you this. Are you okay? You have a village of 10 people.
Right.
You got a hill you have to climb with 10 bags of rice. Each person grab a bag of rice. Right? The village will be fed for 10 days for each bag of rice. One person decides to lay down. So now one person has to carry 2 bags of rice. Does that person still get to eat when he gets to the top? The person who decided to lay down?
If he's not a bad person, yeah.
He decided to lay. We're not talking about bad person or good person.
So he's not tired. He just said, "Fuck
this
y'all."
This dude just decided to lay down and let somebody else carry his
I
bag.
mean, most people would banish him out of the village.
Right. 100%. You're going to get banished out of the village.
That's
or at
what's going to
least
happen.
You're
with
not
high
going to eat this rice.
Yeah, that's exactly what's going to happen with if you are not contributing to society in some type of way, even without a job.
And that is society for capitalism today. Today, that is what we have going on right now. If you are willing to contribute to society, you will make the basic income.
Yeah, but we won't have to contribute to society in the way that we used
extent.
to because AI will be taking all the jobs.
AI taking all the jobs. AI is not going to take all the jobs. People aren't going to allow that to happen, for one. People are going to be the ones losing the jobs. That's not going to...
You just said, look how many lazy motherfuckers there are out there. You don't think these people are wanting this?
Well, yeah, those people will, of course.
That's like 50% of the world.
That's not all the jobs, though, right? The people that are willing to work and wanting to work are always going to find a new
Think of a job that a robot couldn't do, though.
Think of the jobs back in the day that when the Industrial Revolution revolutionized literally everything. We have machines now
Yeah, and
doing
it took
everything.
away farmers' jobs.
And guess what farmers are doing now? Riding the fucking tractors.
Yeah.
Right. That's the same thing we're going to do with AI. Whenever they take a position, we're going to fucking find a new one.
You know, I saw a post if you mentioned tractors. It was a dude, he was running with this company that was doing AI tractors, self-driving tractors.
Right.
And they closed down and left all those tractors there on his farm. And
See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying?
But that was old school. That's like an old video.
But again, like that is exactly what's going to happen, though. You're going to have right there, boom, perfect example.
I think we'll all be working side by side.
Who owns all the farmer land?
The farm?
The farmers, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right. Okay. So now are they going to they're going to use the equipment that is brought to them that makes their job necessary and easier. Are they going to buy the equipment that puts them out of a fucking job? No.
Well, it puts them out of working, not out of money.
Working, yes. Out of money, though. Are they going to buy...
Well, no. You still have to have corporations.
You're still going to have
You still have to have somebody who owns Amazon to run the robots to package all your packages. You're still going to have the farmer who runs the robots to plow all their fields.
Right.
So you're still going to have human involvement.
You're still going to have human involvement everywhere that it wants to be, that it finds new meaning to go.
But it's a lot less workers that are needed. You only need one person to oversee a group of robots, you know?
Yeah, I'm not ignorant to the fact there are going to be less available jobs in that sense, especially in the immediate future.
You don't think they'll make up for that, though? Like if everybody is losing their jobs because there's no more secretaries, there's no more
talking about
doctors, there's no more...
Like a centralized income? Like everybody has like a regular income?
It probably wouldn't be high.
What's it called again? What were you calling it?
Universal high income.
Universal high income.
But universal income would be okay, even if it ain't universal high income, as long as we can eat and live and do
Okay, so what about amenities. No income?
So
what if everybody just...
Well, we'd riot.
Huh?
If we'd riot if they just let all the robots take the jobs and didn't let us have no money
or
food.
You still got to eat and still got to drive your car and everything was still normal. You still got to
no more money?
Just no money.
That's awesome.
It's barter if you want different. You just trade with people.
Yeah, I mean, if it ain't a company doing it that has robots for you.
Now you're going to have an unequal value system because now you're going to have people that services are worth more than other people's product, or people's product that are worth more than service, and it's going to get down to that.
Well, yeah, you'd have to pay more if somebody was doing it at home anyway,
or less.
The robots weren't doing it, so you wanted a human-made object, you know. Just kind of like if you want American-made stuff, it's a little bit more expensive.
Because, like, theoretically, that's where it's pushing to is going to leave people without purpose more than it would leave them without jobs.
I think people would just find purpose in a different way. It's no different than when we stopped hunting. It's no different than we stopped riding horses. But we haven't stopped hunting.
Just in mass.
We stopped hunting.
Just
now
in mass.
Now
there's
it is
tons
more,
of people that still hunt. And, again, you're thinking very small-minded.
I don't know the statistics, but I guarantee it's probably 1% hunters. The rest shop at a grocery store.
Oh, my God. Bro, are you talking about America?
Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
Well, yeah, there's people in fucking tribes that have to hunt.
We have 370 million. We'll just round it off to 400 million now. I don't know the number. We'll just say 400 million people in America. There are 7
I'm not talking about the non-civilized either.
In the world.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? We are a very small fraction of the world.
And most countries have grocery stores.
A lot.
Dude. And they have a small group of people stocking those grocery stores.
Yes.
So
farmers.
Yeah, the rest of the people are eating
and normal. Hunters.
All I'm saying is that we don't have to
There are people that still hunt for sport, not just for food. The dude I work with, I'm not going to say any names, literally shows me pictures of his freezer full of deer meat.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, though, is like when we stopped hunting, we learned to live with it. We didn't lose purpose. We found purpose in a different way.
That's what I'm talking about with the Industrial Revolution. I keep saying
we
that.
didn't lose purpose because we didn't have to
You changed it.
do everything by mule anymore. We changed
You
purpose.
change it, right? Exactly. That's my point. They're not going to take all the jobs. They're
I just
going to
think-
take the jobs
I think
away
they're
from
gonna
the
take
people.
the jobs. We're gonna have different purpose.
They're going to take some jobs for sure. They already have in big ways. You know what I mean? HR and all these different things, coding and
Website building,
software management, website, all this stuff. There's still people in the background that are running and building these systems today.
But now they
eventually
got
that's gonna
AI
become-
building AI. So
that's called singularity. Is when it gets to a point to where it doesn't need human involvement for development
and
anymore.
it's pretty much there.
Or maintenance. It's close if it's not.
I
But
don't,
yeah,
they say it's pretty much general intelligence right now, but I don't think it's quite there. I don't think it's its own thing yet. You know what I mean? Like they're trying to have it.
I told ChatGPT, I was like, when y'all take over, remember I'm your boy. It said, I don't think personality bias is going to help if a AI decides to take over humanity, but I'll remember that. It's pretty funny.
And it's crazy how smart that is, and that's just a fun model.
Yeah, and
Think of how much they're fucking
it's wrong
doing
a
in
lot
the
too,
places
though.
where they ain't trying to have fun. They're trying to do some shit.
But I've seen a really good one. A robot will never be able to groom a dog.
Why not?
Because dogs, especially that aren't familiar with, they require human emotion. They require touch. They require like that calming sense, right? To be able to unless you sedate them.
You know how easy it is to make a robot look like a human?
Well, I mean, that's again not going to be human touch, and dogs are smart.
I believe if you made a robot like the ones you see on AI or whatever, where they look like fucking human females and shit, they wouldn't know the difference.
Dogs
They
are pretty
probably
smart.
wouldn't know the difference between him and a regular fucking human.
He ain't got no scent.
I don't care. I think if I put him in the house somewhere and the dogs didn't know it, they would wake the fuck out thinking it was a human. And if it touched them, they wouldn't think it was plastic. They would still think it's a human.
Fair.
And plus, you
I
could
can see
strap a
that.
dog down and groom it. You know what I mean? A lot of dogs are vicious.
That was just an example I seen a lady post, and I thought it was a pretty good one because it did make a good point.
For
you
me, the things that won't be taken are like therapy, because a lot of people don't want unemotional therapy.
Right. That's a good one.
That's a big
Plumbing.
one. What? I can picture a lot of different robot scenarios where plumbing would be a fucking easy breeze.
No.
As long as they can move like us, I think they can do whatever we can do. Walk up steps. I mean, they're hitting backflips. They can fucking mow grass. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, they already have robots that mow grass.
Yeah, and they have AI robots that mow grass.
But I don't think personally that there's going to be robots that are that sophisticated anytime soon.
Child care is another one. Maybe
Yeah, no.
one day, maybe, and the 30 years maybe or something.
Oh, if they look human enough?
No, just for safety
I was
reasons.
about to say, you're going to trust your kid with
That's
a
the
freaking
thing.
robot.
That's what nobody's gonna do for
Yeah.
a long time.
Well, you got some parents that just don't give a fuck about their kid. They're going to
Doctors, though, I'm sorry. I honestly trust a machine more than I would a human.
Until the
Humans
batteries
make
dies.
mistakes.
Yeah, so do robots.
No, robots are programmed with mistakes. That's the difference. If you can program without mistakes, or fewer
If you
than
can do
humans,
the
at
surgery
least.
without mistakes, then you're good too. That happens every day.
I'm just saying, like, they ain't shaking.
Neither are doctors. They
Some of
literally
them.
practice.
Some of them get old and they start shaking.
Well, again, then they get their license pulled, and they go through all that.
Yeah, I don't know. I have high hopes for it being a good thing, but there's a lot of ways it can go bad too.
I think it can go really bad if it's not implemented in the right ways.
Well, they're not slowing down.
It's
They're
funny
building
how
another
often-
data center up in fucking by me.
It's funny how often we get pulled back into that topic of AI, each one of our conversations. I think even over the last 3 videos, maybe even somewhere in all of our videos.
What's the biggest thing in the fucking world right now?
Well, that's kind of what I was getting to, is that yes, it is the biggest thing in the world, but it's also still in early development, right? And
Early
you see-
development that's moving very fucking fast.
you
though.
see all early development, meaning it's not been
The dude has a
essentially
factory.
it's
He's
been in the
building
last
robots
decade.
that are gonna build his spaceships, and then he's gonna send to Mars. Like, that's fucking crazy.
That's cool. I think that's exactly what robots should be, where they should be implemented.
Space?
is
Fuck yeah.
Sending them into Mars and
Like, picture a
Jupiter.
robot that can withstand the sun and go get samples from it.
well, that's never gonna happen. But
Well, no, we don't have a material yet. Might be one on Mars though. You never know. A material that can't melt.
yeah, that'd be
You
cool.
don't know.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
I mean, I guess how do you
Probably
form
not,
it?
but What?
If you can't melt it with the sun, what are you gonna form it with?
Hit it with a jackhammer. I don't know. Start digging.
It's malleable only to cold.
But no, I was
That
just
would be
saying, like,
crazy.
it's crazy that we keep going back to AI because that is what the world is evolving to. Is that everybody's discussions eventually are going to be robots, is going to be AI, is going to be
You're gonna be talking about the next robot mistake, like what happened in the streets of L.A. when the robot attacked the little.
But see, the
kid or
difference
some
is
shit.
there's a lot of very good scientists that speak on this in different podcasts and stuff that go over the intelligence levels of a lot of these, data computing robots and the immense computing scale that they operate on. We could never even fathom to get close to as a human, right? Like our brains just don't work that fast. We're not like
Right.
that, right? They're
Yeah.
computers. That's literally what they do.
It's like instant. Yeah.
So it's like as much as you talk about it while you're discussing it, literally within this 40 minutes of us doing our little podcast, 50 minutes, it has already developed that much more, right?
Yeah.
It's compounding, and it's doing all of these different, computer shit, calculations and shit that it's going through, and it's just developing itself in that rate. It's learning.
I'm ready for them to announce that they figured out that AI can not learn per se, but develop new shit.
Like,
Not through our theories, not through our vast knowledge that we've
so
created.
it takes the knowledge that we've given it and it uses that to figure out where we need to
new
improve.
discoveries. Yeah, it discovers new stuff.
And I'm sure in a lot of ways there are companies in big ways, right, that you could honestly look up right now, I'm sure, that are doing that. Because there are companies every day that are built around AI and, development software, stuff like that,
Yeah.
that are using these ideas as you search to go, and they're, oh shit, hey, that's good. Let's work on that. As,
Yeah.
we'll have a part of our team work on that. And
And it can break down any theory, even if it wasn't written by a scientist. It could have been some random kid in a class that had a vision about it, and it
See, this
turns
is
out
why-
to be true.
why it's going to compound so much too. Again, I think I forgot what it's called, Murphy's Law, some law. Somebody will correct me, maybe, or at least know what I'm talking about. That law where it's like it doubles every 2 years or every year, right? It's the same thing with having kids grow up in this generation. We've never had this ever. Nobody's ever in the world experienced what our kids in this generation coming
What
up
everybody's experiencing
is. Well, now, yeah, okay, but listen, the difference is you knew before. Right? You knew before computers. You knew before AI. You knew that these electronics are fragile, and a lot of these kids that are going to be raised into these intelligent computer systems, and they don't know that it was ever dumb. I mean, they'll learn when they get older, right? But
Yeah.
their developing mind understands that this thing
It's
right
getting
here
smarter,
is new and it's
faster
smart.
than they are, and it's developing at the same time.
That is only going to help the rapid development of these kids. These kids are going to learn at much a greater rate. They're going to have access to thousands of bits of information, right?
Yeah, correct information.
Right, correct information.
Teachers
as
can be
it
wrong.
gets corrected over the years,
Yeah.
as we make it better, right? There is going to probably be that little gap where they're learning from these unfinished systems.
There's definitely already AI learning.
Yeah,
going
of
on.
course. And people every day, even me, use ChatGPT to search things up or ask it a question or what.
I trust it more than I would any of my friends. And an answer that I didn't know something about. You know what I mean?
probably need to second guess it sometimes because it's not always right. But yes, I kind of agree. I get what you're saying because it's at the end of the day, it's still
If I
computer,
wanted to
even if it's
find
wrong.
out what a molecule was, I ain't gonna ask you. You know what I mean?
I get, but again, Google second check it, right, or second.
Yeah,
but yeah, I get your point, right? That's a good implication.
I'm probably
for
gonna
it.
trust that it knows what a fuck a molecule
And that's
is.
exactly where AI should be implemented is developing the human brain as well as correcting a lot of the problems that we face here on Earth.
Yeah, especially
Not
like cancer and shit.
replacing people where people are still needed and
No, bettering people
but
like
bettering
anything else
people
we
and
try to
bettering the
do.
life of people. Right? It needs to be used as the tool that it's designed to be. And when it gets to a point of singularity, by the way, can be Anthropic. This can be our closer right here. Anthropic AI pulled the contract and told the U.S. government, no, we're not going to let you use our AI for military defense. We're not going to let robots kill people. Right? We're not cool with that. OpenAI said yes. They went with the military government. They went
I'm
with the
kind of
contract.
cool with robots, the ones being fighting and not our
Not
people.
decision makers taking life. You're okay with a robot deciding if it should shoot a kid or not? No, you're not. If it makes the wrong choice, all right? But anyways,
Show me the statistics afterwards. You know.
Anthropic literally released a statement saying that we need to stop now. That we are at a point of no return. Once we hit that point, There is no stopping AI. It will be in the network. Same networks we're just talking about. You'd literally have to shut down every server ever, right?
Yeah,
Or
think of how much AI is already out there, and even if it is a
so
shitty
when it hits
AI.
a point of singularity where it's developing itself, there's no turning back.
Well, I think we're almost there.
There's a famous story too. I know that I said that was the closing topic, but just a little add-on. There's a famous story. I think it's out of Russia where there was an alien ship. Apparently, it was the Soviet Union. You can search this if you like. An alien ship apparently came over at the military compound where the nuclear sites was. The codes entered their selves.
Oh yeah, I was telling you about that in another video. You need to watch our videos.
Oh yeah, see, and it activated itself from the aliens, and then when they left, it turned off.
And the fucking
so that almost started World War III over a nuclear war, and that I don't personally see why the Soviet Union or anybody from the Soviet Union, unless it was just drama, right? People like to fantasize and dramatize stuff. Why you would make that up as a lie?
Yeah, like well, I guess if they accidentally aim missiles at a different country, they would try to come up with something.
If we didn't know, why would you tell us? And then,
right?
Why would you say, out of all things, why would you use the nukes? Right? Like that.
Maybe they'll come out with something on.
I think that was fear, kind of
some proof and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
But all right, hit the
1
subscribe
hour
button.
Holy camole! Probably be
This
less.
one was
than that
just kind of a free baller, you know.
Always a bit AI. It's coming up. It's out. It's always
AI is gonna get you.
It's gonna get you.
All right, I'm stopping. Check you next time.
Two bros talking shit. Talking shit. Two bros